Well, thank you. So, Your Eminences, Your Eminence Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Secretary of the Holy Father, Your Eminences, my Most Reverend John Zizioulas, the Eastern Orthodox Metropolitan of Pergamon, Your Eminences and Your Excellencies, members of Diplomatic Corps and government representatives, leaders from civil society groups and from indigenous communities, representatives of international institutions and non-governmental organizations, your dear young people, and my dear brothers and sisters. I'd like to greet all of you very warmly in the name of the Dicastery for the Promotion of Integral Human Development, and on its behalf, and on behalf of all our partner groups, I wish to welcome all of you very heartily to the Vatican and to this conference that celebrates the 3rd anniversary of the publication of the landmark encyclical of Pope Francis on the care for our common home. I want to thank you also, one and all, for your very generous response to our invitation and for having traveled from far and near to this anniversary celebration that endeavors to assess the impact of Laudato Si and to refashion a very serious listening to the prophetic message of this encyclical. Your Eminences, Your Excellencies, my dear friends, 3 years ago, on this same podium, with His Eminence, the Metropolitan of Pergamon, Zizioulas, here on this podium, we presented the encyclical Laudato Si to the world. We all had this singular privilege of doing this, but shortly thereafter, Pope Francis himself presented the encyclical to the world, and which I'd like to invite you all briefly to see. Let's briefly see how Pope Francis presented this encyclical himself to the world.
Creyentes y no creyentes, estamos de acuerdo en que la tierra es una herencia común cuyos frutos deben beneficiar a todos. Sin embargo, ¿qué pasa en el mundo donde vivimos? La relación entre la pobreza y la fragilidad del planeta requiere otro modo de ejercer la economía y el progreso, concibiendo un nuevo estilo de vida. Porque necesitamos una conversión que nos una a todos, liberarnos de la esclavitud del consumismo. Y este mes te hago una petición especial. Que cuidemos de la creación recibida como un don que hay que cultivar y proteger para las generaciones futuras. Cuidar la casa común.
So, curar la casa común. All of you have learned some Spanish this morning, I imagine. So here are the important takeaways of the message of the Holy Father presenting this encyclical. Namely, our nature is created by God and surrounded by the gifts of creation. That our failures are that we overconsume and that we do not share the gifts of creation. That these sins have the direct and dire consequences for the poor and the planet itself. And so it is urgent that we change our sense of progress, our management of the economy, and our style of life. And they lead to the core message of the Pope's encyclical letter, which he also ended this video with. Care. Care and care for our common home. For Pope Francis, then, the present ecological situation poses two fundamental challenges, that of protecting our common home and that of coming together, bringing all the human community together to seek a sustainable and integral development. These challenges constitute the two profound convictions which have also motivated and guided the preparation of this conference. The very first motivation or conviction is that the urgency of the situation is on us. As all of us know, and as we will hear again and again during this conference, both from experts and from victims on the front line of climate change and other manifestations, some of which we've witnessed and celebrated in COP21, COP22, COP23, and now COP24 coming up. Today, our common home, our planetary home, is falling into ruins. We are on the brink of an unprecedented global challenge or global catastrophe regarding sustainability of our common home, which places a question mark on the very future of human existence and its civilization. We are running out of time. We may be condemning future generations to a common home in ruins. 3 years ago, when we gathered here to present the encyclical, we recalled that Pope John Paul II and the Patriarch Bartholomew had jointly in 2002 expressed the same concern and invited the world to a change of lifestyle. We gathered, if you want, we gathered 12 years after that to celebrate the publication of this encyclical, and 3 years after that we gathered again to repeat the same message. Is our world listening? Or we need to find new ways of inviting our world to listen? That will be part of the task of our gathering here these 2 days. We, our generation, have indeed a huge responsibility in saving our common home and the future of life on earth. The very title of the conference for which we gathered together from around the world. At the same time, we're convinced, and this is the second motivation that guided us in the preparation of this conference, and it is that by acting together, we can succeed in saving our common home. We are aware that we need to act in partnership and that we need to create a global alliance for the care of our common home. We have accordingly envisaged this conference as a journey in partnership. Our dicastery for promoting integral human development has organized this conference in collaboration with some important partners who are very active in the area of creation. And indeed, in some way, all of us here may be involved in some action of one kind or the other. But we recognize, for example, the Global Catholic Climate Movement, Caritas Internationalis, the CITSE, CAFOD, the Global Solidarity Fund, Fastens Offer, Renovabis, and very many others. I take this occasion to thank all of them for their support in the organization of this event. Your Eminences and my dear friends, the desire to enter into partnership and collaboration is equally evident in the list of participants and all of you gathered here in this Synod Hall. We've invited you to the conference as representatives of the various local churches, our sister churches, other religious traditions, indigenous communities, young people, scientists, economists, academicians, politicians, and all. It is just to make the point of needing to act together to be able to save our common home. Along with you, we would like to create a real network of people passionate about the care for our common home. So you here, as our partners, And thank you so very much for having so generously responded to our invitation to be here. So, Your Eminence and my dear friends, we come together to reflect and to act together on how to save our common home. Moved by the urgency of the situation, which scientists do not fail to remind us of, moved by the experience of people living on the front line of climate change, we gathered here to listen again to the cry of the poor and the cry of creation. And may it please the Lord that we all dispose to desire and to want to act together to save the earth, our common home. So thank you again for coming, and I trust that these 2 days over here would be very rewarding for all of you, and that your rich contribution would enable all of us to prepare for COP24, which is coming up. Thank you then for coming.